Hey, it's William Melini from Flowers and Scents with your floral industry buzz. It's been a long time since I did an interview, but today we're going to do an interview with Lane DeVries. Lane DeVries is the new executive director of California Association of Flower Growers and Shippers. And Lane, who we know from the Sun Valley days, has a new role, and we thought we should talk to him and find out what he's going to do in his new role and what it's all about. So let's talk to Lane DeVries. All right, greetings to my friend Lane DeVries, the new executive director of the California Association of Flower Growers and Exporters, or right? Close enough.
Go Flowers.
Yeah. Um, okay, so you have a new role, and as a new role, with a man with a hat, because you're wearing a new hat, and in your honor, I'm going to change hats here.
There you go.
There you go. Just in your honor, I'm going to change hats.
Perfect.
There we go.
Looks good on you, really.
All right, my friend. So as we go along here, you're the new director, and you have a new role. What's the well? Let me preface this for the people perhaps that don't know what's going on here. So, the Association of California, which is almost a little bit of a misnomer because it's beyond California at this point, I believe,
Totally. Yes.
has started a program and took their proceeds, some of their proceeds from their business ventures, and created that flower feeling, which is a marketing program that they launched, what, maybe 2 years ago now, I guess.
2 years ago. Yes.
And let me turn the volume up. And as a result, they had a program. I think the first iteration was self care, self health care, or something of that nature.
Self-care. Yes.
Just flower self care, which was a really nice uh, marketing thing that they did. It was fun and comical and I think effective, based on what I heard. And now you're taking over the reins. So what's the goal? What's your goal there?
As you pointed out earlier, Willie, Cal Flowers is kind of a misnomer. We have nearly 900 members, and only 230 of them are in California. So the vast majority of our membership is scattered across the United States. So for all intents and purposes, we are more of a national organization than just a California organization. But yeah, when it comes to that flower feeling, great opportunity to promote flowers, in our great country, and persuade the American consumer to start using flowers on a daily basis, rather than just and as an industry, we have been very focused in the past on Valentine's Day and Mother's Day. It's a very holiday centric approach. And so the goal is to really spread this consumption across the entire year, and get that kind of consumption happening every month of the year, and not just in February and May. And so it started out with the self-care 3 years ago, which has been great, particularly right after COVID. I think there was a very good strategy at that point. But as we sit here today, we need to really broaden our approach, open up the playbook, so to say, and start looking at other opportunities, and not walk away from self-care. Self-care is important, but I think self-care by itself may not be enough to take this to a higher level. And so that's really the focus we are engaging in right now, is really looking at other opportunities to increase consumption, and not just the summertime is obviously the summer doldrums in our business. We're all aware of it, and it can be very painful at times. And so if that flower feeling can help promote more sales opportunities, during that time frame, I think we would have a winning strategy, and
Well,
that's one of the things we're looking at right now.
and we just came out from Women's Day, which I think you were the major promoter of. I have stickers all over my clothes to indicate that that you know you have been diligent about that over the many years that I've known you. And do you see a little bump there for
Absolutely.
Women's Day?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, it's definitely started to, and I've said this before, we have definitely made a lot of progress on Women's Day. We have moved the ball down the field, but with a little bit more of a push. And I think this is where that flower feeling can be of great help. With a little bit of a push, we get the ball in the end zone and score some points. And I think we're really close. We're in the red zone, but we haven't scored quite yet. So, but we're getting there. So,
Well, some people have said that there are too many holidays in some cases, you know, that we've become very holiday centric, and just adding a new, a new girlfriend day or a new boyfriend day or something like that is not the answer. Um,
mm,
what's your approach on that?
yeah, I vehemently disagree with that
Okay.
premise. I think holidays scattered throughout the year ultimately is just going to help our industry even more. Just the two major holidays that we have had so far just isn't enough. We just need to look at and you look at Europe. You look at the amount of holidays they have there. I mean, Mother's Day is the second Sunday in May in many countries, but not in all countries. It's a different Sunday in France. It's a different Sunday in England. And then, of course, you got Women's Day. That's really large in Europe. You got Back to School Day, which is a big holiday in the eastern part of Europe and in Russia. And so throughout the year, there are way more holidays there than we have here. And that ultimately helps the flow of production, and it also helps consumption throughout the year. So I think I think more holidays is actually the answer. Um, Much more so than not the answer. So,
Interesting perspective. Well, yeah, my wife is German, and I know that they have lots of holidays over there because they're always on vacation. I don't know. They're I'm not sure who gets all the work done there because seems like they have a lot of weeks vacation. But I guess to that point, there's a lot of flower buying opportunities as well.
yeah, and if we look in our country, and I've said this before, I mean, you take that summertime period, we'll take Memorial Day. Cal Flowers is a major sponsor of Memorial Day flowers.
Yeah,
Your brother is heavily involved in that as well.
yeah, me as well. Yeah.
And
So
and so if we can use that flower feeling and and as a way to take the platform that we have with Memorial Day flowers and bring Memorial Day back as a major flower holiday in our country, like it used to be many, many years ago when I came to this country in the 80s.
hmm,
Memorial Day was huge.
hmm.
And so if we can bring that holiday back to its former stature, I think we have a huge gain right there. And I think that flower feeling can play a pivotal role in accomplishing that.
Yeah,
So we go down this, oh, go ahead.
well, I sort of agree because I remember in my trucking days that after Mother's Day was over, everybody was like, okay, relax. And then, no, but Memorial Day's right there coming
Yeah,
up. So you couldn't relax, which was a good thing.
it was a big holiday. And so if we go down the summer more, I mean, let's look at Father's Day. There's 70 million fathers in our country. Men like flowers too. And so I think with the promotion vehicle that we have with that flower feeling, we can bring Father's Day in the fold as a major flower holiday as well. Go farther into the summer, Independence Day. There are certain places where Independence Day, flowers are being given, but that flower feeling can play a huge role in that as well. Then you go look in August, you got Girlfriend's Day, you mentioned that earlier. That's right in the middle of August. Other promotion opportunity. And then Back to School Day, I referenced that earlier in Eastern Europe and Russia. All the kids going back to school from the end of August to the beginning of September can be another opportunity to turn that into a flower holiday as well. And then in September, there's Grandparents' Day.
Right.
There's 67 million grandparents in our country. So why not turn that into a holiday opportunity? So throughout that summer period, with the proper focus, I think we can really help the industry to increase consumption during those months where we most need it.
All right, well, let's circle back a moment for that flower feeling, because that flower feeling, again, was funded initially by Cal Flowers. They put
Yes,
up, right?
absolutely.
They put up all the money and did the programming, and had it produced and published and all that stuff. And then I believe now the question is where is the future funding going to come from? Because I don't. Well, Cal Flowers obviously will, I imagine, continue to be a major sponsor, but still to get beyond what they did so far, you have to have another program and it's got to be funded somehow. So what's the plan on getting funds to do that? Because there's obviously some competing ideas out there. Floral board and is another idea that's out there about trying to collect money, and
Right.
obviously growers and importers and whoever are not eager to reach in their pockets all the time.
Okay, so Cal Flowers put more than $2 million into establishing that flower feeling. And so as it's running now, Cal Flowers is still the major sponsor at the tune of a $500,000 in cash each year that we put in that flower feeling. And if you incorporate also the staff time and the overhead on the Cal Flower side, our total contribution to that flower feeling is probably closer to $800,000 a year. The industry in 2024 contributed about $288,000. So Cal Flowers so far has been by far, the main contributor to that flower feeling. And yeah, you're absolutely right. There are conversations in the industry. How can we get to a promotion order? Those are difficult conversations. And so I've had great conversations with Red Kennecott about this and with Oscar Fernandez. I mean, how we can accomplish something like that. It's too early to really, say much about that at this point because I'm not sure if there is a pathway. But as it stands right now, between the industry support we do have and the Cal Flower support, we have a sustainable model. It may not take on a huge form yet, but as we stand right now, we can make some inroads, with the budget we have. And so we're looking at the type of programs, the advertising agency that we used before, which was, a major firm in Holland.
In Holland.
And so we're now looking at other approaches because that contract is coming to an end. And as we're looking at other approaches, I still see a pathway to have a great program, maybe with not an expensive agency like that, and take a slightly different approach, and still make some great inroads. If we use Women's Day as an example, Women's Day, we started pushing that about 15 years ago. If we look at the total outlay that we spent as a company to help bring that holiday, onto the scene, it's relatively small. And so if we use that kind of perspective, I think there's a lot of opportunity to promote these holidays without spending millions and millions and millions of dollars. That's my take on it.
Okay. Well, I guess you have, as a California grower and a domestic grower, you obviously been, I don't think it's fair to say you not have been a great fan of imports. And I'm glad you mentioned Oscar and Red because I think they're part of the other team, if you will, but if that's the way to say it. And so now you have maybe a challenge to go out and collect some money or get some funding from people that may have thought, okay, he's just a California grower, but now, like we said, our hats have changed, perhaps, huh?
Well, let me address that. I mean, yes, I was a California flower farmer, and so I stood up for my fellow flower farmers and in trying to keep our businesses going. And so, yeah, that was a definite, sometimes passionate conversation. But let it be very clear. We are all one industry. We have all one goal. We're all in this together. We want to increase the consumption in our country. So, California, Miami, Colombia, Ecuador, we're all in this together. It's one group. It's a great industry we're in, and we have one goal, and that is to increase consumption. And let the past be the past, and let some of the passionate conversations that may have happened in the past, let it be the past. We're now looking forward, and we're looking forward to whatever we can do as an industry to increase consumption in our great country.
I think the phrase is more Americans buying more flowers more often. Is that?
More Americans enjoying more flowers more often. That's the mission
The mission statement. Yeah.
statement of Cal Flowers. And Cal Flowers has been doing this already. I mean, even besides funding TFF or That Flower Feeling, Cal Flowers is heavily involved in Memorial Day flowers,
Sure.
in J. Schwenke, many floral associations across the country. Uh, we're involved with AFE, in Sustainable Bloom, in their marketing fund, in the Gen Z. So as an industry, we are putting our money throughout the country. And it's not just California. We strongly believe in promoting flowers and educating in the entire United States.
I love it. Yes, and as I go to many of these conventions, I often see that Cal Flowers is a sponsor of this one and that one, and that's important because that's where the money has to come from. It's got to come from somewhere, and sponsors have to be willing to sponsor. So
Yep.
I'm happy that that's your take on it, and so you have a goal. Is there the ultimate goal is just like we say, get more people to buy more flowers, and how we do that or how you do that as an industry is going to be, well, we have to wait and see how it happens. Although I believe it was a good start. I was very happy about the program and excited about how they did it. And
Absolutely.
I think it's important to note that you have, the organization has made those marketing materials available to everybody,
Everybody
right?
at no charge. The entire industry can use those marketing materials. Absolutely.
And they can find them at
At
CF,
our website, at
at
the TFF, the Dead Flower Feeling website.
or the Lat Flower Filling website.
Yeah,
So any retailer, any wholesaler, anybody can go there and just use those marketing materials, which are
absolutely.
you already paid
Yep,
for.
yep,
I like
that
it.
is right.
I like it. All right. Well, I told you this would go quickly, and I'm happy that we had an opportunity to have this conversation because it was necessary now with your new role there, and I think in general everybody that I've ever talked to felt that that was a good move. You're a Dutchman.
Yeah,
You can't hide
40
that.
years ago, but yeah, I'm still, yeah, that's where I was born and raised. So, yes,
You've been a passionate grower. You've been a very big advocate of the industry, and have always been at showing your flowers and your tulips and your ilex, which is behind you there. So I applaud your new position, and I wish you the best of luck, sir.
well, thank you very much, Willie. Thank you for the interview, and we'll see each other soon. So,
I'm pretty
thank
sure
you.
we will. All right, my friend, enjoy it. Thank you, Had.